I've got two really nice little storage bays on the back of the dump trailer, and somebody stole my ramps. So in this video, I think I'll have to make some new ramps. Now, I learned a while back that all really good projects, you know, if you're like fabricating something, they all start with like a really accurate AutoCAD drawing, you know? So I took some measurements, and the ramp can only be 80 inches long because that's how long the bay is. Actually, the bay is like 81, so that gives it a little bit of room. And then it can be 3 inches high and 16 inches wide. I'm gonna use angle iron. So we got like angle on both sides. I've got some of that. And then there's gonna be angle kind of like in the middle to sort of stiffen it up. All right, we got a plan. Let's get to cutting. I've been using these paint pens lately to mark my steel. It's good if you just need like a rough mark, you know, it doesn't have to be like perfect or whatever. You can really see the stuff. It's like silver paint or whatever. And I'm cutting these dudes at 15.5 just because the sides, you know, they got a little bit of thickness to them. All right, now as for spacing these guys out, I'm sure there's some kind of calculatic, analytic, iterative, algorithmic thing you could do with math, but instead, I just made a couple 4-inch jigs. That looks good to me. I like the 4-inch jig, so I'm just gonna kind of like work my way down, keep the 4-inch thing going on, and see where that gets us. I mean, I got nothing against the mathematic method or approach or disposition or whatever, but it's just not my thing. Like, I could sit here all day trying to long divide the ratios that would determine the gaps between the pieces, but you know, in the end I wouldn't really come up with a good solution, so I'll do my 4-inch gaps, see where that gets me. Alright, that looks pretty good. This will be the end, which will have another piece of angle over here. That's going to be my hook, you know, to like hook into the end. The hasty among us would now start welding, but you got to clean this stuff up. So I got to clean it up, make sure my connections are real tidy before I zap it together. So this is probably the most important thing about the project, is actually getting a really exact layout.
Yo, Spence.
Yo!
Emma tested negative.
Emma negative!
So that's a good sign for me. Hopefully.
That's good for you. You don't have it.
Because if I had it, I would have infected her.
You don't have it.
Y'all just got a positive today.
He's positive, so he infected everyone he was with all week, possibly.
I thought I'd let you know.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Alright, we'll find out about yours real soon. I think it's easy to get the sense that welding is like the best, you know, like glorified, like, oh man, just can't wait to get into my next welding project. But really, a project like this is monotonous as heck. I mean, you're laying down a weld And every little teeny loop is done over and over again. Each one of these is a little over 6 inches. And with just something this small, you're looking at like 20 plus feet of welding. It's got a couple more to lock in, and then we'll be able to set the hooks up. So the ramp is almost too heavy to lift. It needs some kind of doohickey hook type thing up here. Also, what do you think? Where it hits the ground, don't you think this needs like a little trim just to get it kind of closer to earth? Here's what I'm thinking for the end. Just another piece of butchy angle. I'll probably have to slice this down just to make it fit in there right, but I'll do that later. I cut this a little short just so I can get more weld action. So I can weld here, here, and then on the flip side I can weld the inside, because this thing, this one piece holds all the weight. All right, rough fit on the trailer, and let's just see if it's too heavy to move. All right, now I can see the anglage that's got to come off. We got to do a little bit of anglage here. We also got to do some anglage here. Just a little bit of anglage. Anyway, before I cut my angles and everything, I also want to see if I can fit it into the slot. You know, if it doesn't fit in the slot, it's really kind of worthless. So. Alright, test fit on the not yet cleaned up or painted ramp, but it actually fits right in between there. That's pretty good. I'll slide it this way, it also kind of rides up above that stub right there. Alright, I guess we need to build the second one. So I got the 2 racks fabricated, and one of them got a little bit skanked out in the rain. I didn't think it was gonna rain, so this one got a little rusty. I ground it down, wire wheeled it, all that. This one's cleaner, it's been ground down. I'm just gonna clean them up with acetone. Before I do that, I guess I could show you some of my welds, you know, just so you can see what they're like. This side doesn't have too many, but in a second I'll flip it over. We can look at the other welds. And this just cuts some of the, you know, oils and stuff. Steel's always coated in some kind of goo just to keep it from rusting at the steel yard. And here's your peep at the welds on the inside. Basically, you know, everything's welded. Just tried to overdo it. That's where my gas bottle ran out. You can always see those little kind of bumps show up when you don't have your shielding gas in place, so I switched bottles out right there. And then the final hook at the end is right here, and it's welded kind of on the bottom and the top, you know, just to really lock that baby in. That's pretty much the rando can special. Just kind of everything I had left over. If you're gonna make the prettiest ramps in town, like gorgeous ramps, you want to prime it, you know, maybe a couple layers of primer. But I'm not trying to make pretty ramps. I just want ramps that don't completely rust. Ramps are painted, didn't have to use jungle green. Definitely one of the downsides on this so-called design is the fact that these guys are pretty much like little swimming pool water pockets. So if you were to stow the ramps in this configuration, this is like right side up. If you stow them right side up, you know, they go into the bays right side up, all these little guys are just waiting for splash and stuff to just hold water and rust out. So storing these guys unfortunately isn't going to mean just sliding them in the pockets. It's going to mean flipping them over and sliding them in the pockets. So a little bonus workout with this design. Oh look, miss a spot. All right, while the ramps are outside cooking, drying up in the heat of the day, let me show you the last part of this project, which is to put a winch. Not a big boy winch, but like a little boy winch, 3,500 pound. You know, 3,500 pounds is not quite 2 tons, but it is exactly the weight of my tractor, and it's more than the weight of my log splitter. So anyway, I'm gonna put this little winch in the trailer somewhere. We'll be able to like pull things up and down the ramps. All right, winch is gonna go up front. This is the unit. I just attached this roller jobber, and it's got some wires, instructions. That is my temporary solution, which will be here as long as I own the trailer. Just hang all this stuff so we can move, and then take it down with my releasable zip ties. Yeah, take it down when I need it. All right, that's it for the trailer ramps and mini winch project. Thanks for checking it out. I'll see you in the next one.